On July 28, 2014, Lars was on holiday with some friends in Bulgaria where they were staying at the popular Golden Sands resort. Their trip, however, took a dark turn when Lars, from Itzehoe, northern Germany, got involved in a fight with another group of lads. The Werder Bremen fan became separated from his mates, and things got heated with some Bayern Munich supporters. Lars was punched in the head and suffered a perforated eardrum, which meant he was unable to travel back home, instead checking himself into a hotel by the airport. While the 28-year-old's pals said he seemed happy when they left him, his mother soon received a worried phone call from him. Lars told his mum to cancel his bank card and that he thought he was being followed by a group out to kill him. Recalling the conversation, Sandra Matank later said, "I thought, God, my son is in danger. I could hear his heart pounding over the phone. He said people were trying to rob him or kill him." In order to fly back, Lars needed the all-clear from a doctor. Dr. Kostov said that the young man was not in a good way when he came for his appointment, later describing him as being nervous and erratic. The medic said that Lars was trembling and told him, "I don't want to die here. I have to get out of here." The last images of Lars were captured by CCTV cameras at Varna Airport in Bulgaria and have been viewed millions of times on YouTube. He can be seen walking through the airport's terminal wearing a yellow t-shirt, shorts, and carrying a large rucksack. Lars then heads towards the toilet before appearing again, this time with no luggage in hand and sprinting towards the exit. Cameras outside see him leave the airport and head down the road, where he leaps over a fence and runs off into some woodland. It remains unclear what led to him to become so scared and why he ran away from the airport that day. Unfortunately, statistically speaking, since it's been over 9 years, it's highly unlikely he'll ever be found. His mother has not given up hope, however. She appeared on several television shows, as well as on radio, desperately trying to solve this seemingly unsolvable mystery and bring her son home. Her son, who has been deemed the world's most famous missing person. Now, the case of Brian Schaffer is one of the most bizarre disappearances of the decade. Him and his girlfriend had only been dating for a matter of months, but their friends and respective families believed that the relationship was becoming serious. In 2005, the Schaffer family was dealt a difficult blow when Renee, the mom, was diagnosed with MDS, a rare type of blood cancer. Renee's diagnosis hit everyone in the family hard, but no one more so than Brian, describing her as the greatest and most wonderful person in the world. Renee's final gift to her son would be a trip for 2 to Miami for the upcoming spring break. Sadly, on March 6, 2006, Renee Schaffer passed away at the age of 51, leaving behind a devastated family. One day he asked his girlfriend Alexis to run away with him, though it was unclear if he was joking or not. The matter was soon dropped, but a week later he told Alexis that she should move on and find someone else because he was in a dark place emotionally, but she refused to leave him. They still planned to go to Miami together in early April. Brian was relieved when finals were over and spring break began. He went out for dinner with his father Randy that evening to celebrate. According to Randy, Brian seemed exhausted. Allegedly, there was tension between Randy and his sons over the share of Renee's life insurance policy that Brian and Derek were set to receive. Randy was under the impression that they were receiving more money than they should. After having dinner with his father, Brian went out with his friend William Clint Florence. Brian called Alexis around 10 p.m. to tell her that he loved her. Brian and Clint reportedly had an argument that night. The cause is unclear, but it ended with Brian walking away. Around 2 a.m., Clint and Meredith realized that they hadn't seen Brian in a while and started to search for him. They tried calling him, but received no answer. Neither Randy nor Alexis could reach him that weekend either. When he didn't show up at the airport on Monday, they knew something was wrong and reported him missing. The last known footage of Brian shows him outside of the Ugly Tuna Saloon just before 2 a.m. on the morning of April 1st, 2006, talking to 2 women before heading back inside. Strangely, Brian Schaffer was never seen leaving the bar again in the security camera footage and has been neither seen nor heard from since. Another interesting piece of information was that one of the doors led onto a construction site. It has been suggested that Brian could have wandered in there while intoxicated and gotten hurt. Many have speculated that after leaving the bar, Brian could have either taken his own life or been abducted, possibly robbed and murdered. It must also be noted that the Ugly Tuna Saloona was located in a high crime area. Another theory presented was that he chose to leave and start a new life elsewhere. However, no evidence was ever found to support this idea. On March 18, 2009, a woman named Claudia Lawrence disappeared for very strange reasons. At 6 a.m., Lawrence started her shift at Goodricke College's Roger Kirk Center. She completed her shift at 2 p.m. and was recorded on CCTV leaving the college on foot a few minutes later. Her mother described Lawrence's mood as normal and relaxed. She sent a final text message from her mobile phone at 8:23 p.m. and a final incoming text was received at 9:12 p.m. After this, she was never seen again. The footage shows two people seen near her home at what police said was a potentially significant time. One of the men was walking near her home a short time after Claudia had her last phone conversation. The police think that if she was harmed by anyone that night, the criminal could only escape through this alley. The footage shows the man walking by again, but another person walked by and suddenly stopped. The detectives think people around the neighborhood know more than what they told them and strongly believe they lied to them and are covering up this case. They arrested two people linked to this case, but they couldn't confirm their suspicion. Police have two questions. Who is this and is this you? After a decade, it's believed she was murdered because her body was never found. The 23-year-old airman disappeared in the early hours of September 24, 2016 after being ejected from a nightclub in Bury St Edmunds. He was last seen on CCTV at 3:25 a.m. entering a service area behind a Greggs shop, but his body was never found. On the night of the 23rd of September 2016, McKeague was out drinking with friends in Bury St Edmunds. He had driven himself to the town with the intention of leaving his car overnight. He separated from his friends in the early hours of the 24th of September after leaving the Flex nightclub on St Andrew Street South. The doorman at Flex recalls asking McKeague to leave because he was too drunk to stay. He remarked that McKeague was no trouble whatsoever and that they chatted afterwards on the street outside. The last known sighting of McKeague was on CCTV at 3:25 a.m. on Brent-Govil Street, walking into the horseshoe area where there were a number of wheelie bins. There was no footage of him ever emerging. CCTV footage also suggested that McKeague had slept briefly in a doorway before waking up and moving on. It is not believed that he intended to walk back to his base, RAF Honington, which is 10 miles northeast of the town along minor unclassified roads. His mother, who knows him the best, has three theories. She has stated that there were three possible scenarios: that he met with an accident and was dead, that he left voluntarily, or that a third party was involved. In December 2016, it was revealed that McKeague's bank and social media accounts had not been touched after his disappearance. 2 years later, in October 2018, Suffolk police said they believed his body was at a landfill site in Cambridgeshire. Unfortunately, he was never seen again, and even though in rare cases people are found after decades, it's still very unlikely to find him alive. On March 8th, Riley Strain, 22, student at the University of Missouri Senior, disappeared after a night out with friends in downtown Nashville. He went missing after he was kicked out of Luke Bryan's bar on Lower Broadway. Surveillance video and body cam footage was released detailing the night, as well as a statement from Luke Bryan's bar, claiming they only ever sold him one alcoholic beverage and 2 waters. On March 17th, Metro Police said Riley's bank card was found in the Cumberland River embankment along Gay Street by those who had been searching for Riley themselves. Riley's body was found in the Cumberland River in the Nations area 14 days after he went missing. Nearly a week after learning their son died, Riley Strain's family ordered a second autopsy of their 22-year-old son. The case remains open, and now the world-renowned expert in body decomposition questions what happened to Riley. Riley was fully clothed in the security video the night he disappeared, but when he was pulled from the river 2 weeks later, Scripps News learned Riley didn't have pants on or his boots. From the waist down, only his boxer shorts and socks remained. However, police confirmed when his body was found that Riley had his shirt and Apple Watch still on. It is unusual. Normally, if you fall in the river, it's very difficult to get your pants off. The parents still believe there is more to this and hope for the truth to be revealed.